Hi. If you're a woman of a certain age like me, I'm sure there are times when you look in the mirror and bemoan the fact that you've got a few wrinkles. In fact, people notice your skin tone and whether it's even or not before they notice any wrinkles on your face. So the good news is, if you've got the right makeup on, well, they might not even notice the odd wrinkle or two. My name is Trisha, and I'm founder and MD of Look Fabulous Forever, which is a makeup line with specific products to bring benefit to the more mature face. This video is going to show you a 5-step process, quite simple and straightforward, and how to use the products so that you can end up with a much prettier, fresh-faced look. So today, as our model, we have Anne. Anne and I go back quite a long way. We met when our kids were little. They're now grown up with kids of their own. They're still good friends, and so are we. So I'm delighted that she's been able to come along today. And Linda, who is going to be putting the makeup on and showing you how the face products work together, and I'm sure making Anne look wonderful. The first product that we're going to use on Anne is the primer. What primer does, if you're older, is it prepares your skin really beautifully for your foundation. Our primer is lovely and smooth and silky, and it leaves your skin feeling like satin. It fills in any fine lines that you might have or any open pores, and it also vitally helps makeup to last longer. Don't put it on your eyelids, however, just cheeks, forehead, nose, chin. And then we've got a couple of other primers that you can use, which is one for your lids and one for your lips. Linda's just putting on the lip primer now, so just stroke it onto your lips. And again, put it on now so that it can dry and be ready for your lip colour later on. The lid primer is similarly in a wand with a sponge applicator at the end. Just dab that onto your eyelids, and that allows the eye makeup to go on really nicely, as I said later on, when you need to apply it. Next, we're going to put on the base. We call this Fabulous Base. It's obviously a foundation. If you really do want to even out your skin tone, then foundation is the key to getting a flawless finish. Our foundation gives your face warmth and depth. Now, if you use a very heavy and caking foundation, it's going to look aging, unattractive, and basically will sit in your wrinkles. Our foundation is quite light and creamy. It's got a lovely moisturising feel to it as it goes on. However, it has a good level of coverage, so you want it to be covering, but at the same time look light and fresh and dewy. You can see that Linda is applying this using the foundation brush, which is number 3. And the idea here is to buff it into the skin. It's into, not onto the skin. So using light strokes, starting from the centre of the face and working outwards, you just apply the foundation in a nice even way over the whole face. Don't worry if when you've finished you think there are 1 or 2 areas that need a little bit of extra help. You're not going for a mask, you're not going for something that looks unnatural. You're going for a finish that looks real, but at the same time has actually covered up any areas that you think need to be covered. The other thing is how to choose the colour of the foundation that you want to use. The best thing to do is to put a little bit along your jawline and match it to your neck, not to your face. The reason for that is that your neck might be slightly darker than your face, given that it won't have so many SPF creams on it during the day. And what you want to do is to make sure that it matches your neck so your face doesn't appear to be floating somehow above your neck and sort of rather pale and ghostly. So that's the way to choose the colour. We have 3 colours in the range. We've just called them for simplicity's sake 1, 2 and 3. 1 is light, 2 is a sort of light medium colour, and then 3 is medium. So we've really started the process now of evening out the skin tone, and the next stage is absolutely vital. As we get older, we have, unfortunately, the odd age spot. We might have blemishes. We might have areas on our cheeks which have got little broken veins on them. And concealer is absolutely brilliant for just covering those up. It's kind of like a camouflage. Our concealer is nicely pigmented, which means that it will cover those areas, but without, again, it looking false or in any way caked on. There are 2 areas that you need to be very aware of as you mature. That's the inner corner of the eye, either side of the bridge of the nose, and also the outer corner of the eye, which can often be quite blue. I think it's to do with the skin there becoming quite thin. So concealer is a wonderful way of just covering that up, and it really is an instant freshener. So the concealer is applied using brush 4 with a kind of stippling stroke, which pushes the product into the skin again. So use that motion and then use your finger just to pat it properly into the skin and make sure it's fully blended. I think the rule for any makeup when you're applying it is blending, 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 because you don't want any edges, you don't want any areas where the makeup stops and your skin underneath starts. That would look strange, to say the least. So the more that you blend, the better. And you can see that what's happening here is that the concealer is just going over those, in fact with Anne, very few areas that she needs to cover up, and doing a great job of making the skin look very even and quite perfect, actually. So next product that Linda is going to use is what we call Fabulous Light. This is a highlighter. You'll see that it's in a pen with an integrated brush. You just pump the fluid down onto the brush and use it with light strokes onto some very specific areas. What you're doing with this, you're actually contouring the face, giving some shape to the face by highlighting the cheekbones and the brow bone. So you're putting an arc of light around the eyes. The effect of that is actually to define that area and make it stand out. So your eyes, when you've finished and you've applied your eye makeup, will look much bigger and really much prettier. This really is a fantastic way of instantly looking younger and fresher. It can be used as a further concealer, so you can see that Linda is actually putting some underneath the eyes, where again we have quite thin skin that can be quite blue. If you've got bags under your eyes, which of course Anne hasn't, and if you have perhaps not had a very good night and you're tired, then get your highlighter pen out and you'll find that it will really help you to instantly brighten your face, and you'll look a lot less tired as a result. So again, applying with the brush and just patting it into the skin to make sure that it's fully blended. Down into what's called the nasolabial folds, which is a very horrible expression for those lines that we get running from our nose down to our mouth as we get older. But this is a way to minimise those lines and to make you look better. You can also use the highlighter pen as a stripe down the middle of your nose. Sounds a bit bizarre, but just a little tiny stripe, pat it in, and it can make your nose look slimmer. Later on, when Linda does the lips, she will use the lighter pen again to just put a little bit of colour around the lips in order to help the lipstick to pop, really stand out. So our final product, and this is the coup de grace, the thing that really makes a difference to how you look. Quickest and easiest way to look younger and prettier is to apply blush. Now our blush is a cream to powder formulation. What that means is that it goes on as a cream, which makes it lovely and easy to apply and to control where you put it. And then you can just buff it in using the blusher brush, which is brush 2. Where you put it, let's get clear about that. You may wonder. You probably heard apples of the cheeks. Well, I'm going to let Anne just illustrate something. If she would just make apples of cheeks, please, by smiling, okay? And then that's there. And as soon as she stops smiling, the whole area there has dropped. And that's not the right place for the blusher. You need to put it underneath the highlighter in an arc of colour and around a similar kind of area. So to the side of the face and then round onto that top part of the cheeks, that's the right place for it. Again, it's a kind of contouring tool that you can use to help to give structure and shape to your face. The 2 colours that we have in the range are Rosy Glow and Peach Cream. And you'll probably need Rosy Glow if you've got blonde hair, white hair, grey hair or pale brown hair. And if you've got chestnut hair with reddish tints or very dark hair, then you'll need Peach Cream. Although if you have blue eyes and dark hair, you probably suit the Rosy Glow better. So Linda is now going to finish the whole look by using a little bit of translucent powder. Not much, very lightly applied, but this sets the makeup and makes it look perfect. Now, using the same brush, which is brush number 1, she's just going to apply a little bit of bronzer, and the bronzer will just bring some warmth to the face. Again, you can use it to contour the cheeks, just giving you structure and shape to your face by putting it underneath the blusher and into that area on the cheeks that you can see there. A little bit on the top of her forehead, where the sun would actually touch your skin if you were lying in the sun, which of course we never do we? Because we know that that's not good for us. And that's it. So 5 beautiful products, and now Anne's skin is ready and prepped for her eye makeup and for her lip colour. But I think you'll agree that she now has a beautifully even skin tone and her face looks fresh and very pretty.